For most kids, regular schoolwork can be demanding, difficult, belaboring. For some kids though, regular schoolwork can be excruciating, agonizing, unbearable. And to most other kids, it could possibly be the worst experience of their life. But then again, this is regular schoolwork. Advanced placement classes are even harder. Harder to take, harder to teach. So why do it? Why would a student put in endless hours of work for one class? And why would a teacher grade so many large projects? Frustration deters most students from these classes. What could possibly be gained from all this? In reality, there must be advantages, for teachers and for students. Only when the two come together can AP classes be proven as the gain they are. It has been said that the more advanced the class is, the more stress is put on a teacher. By that idea, AP teachers must feel the most stress of all. Statistics show that many teachers are even driven to therapy due to their stresses. But what about our teachers here at Eastern?
You feel the pressure of having to perform well as a teacher. That test is a reflection of your abilities to teach, motivate.
But I do agree with Mr. McAllister in that it is a lot of pressure to show that I teach well through the scores that you guys will receive on your test in the spring.
I think initially felt pressure of, just knowing the content and making sure that I was prepared. I think that's something that you can't be prepared for, because I knew the math in college, but that doesn't mean that I know how to teach it.
Well, I put a lot of that on myself because I expect myself to do well by these students. These students agreed to take this class. Some of them because they heard that I was teaching it. I don't want to let them down by not giving them my best effort. So, I'm one of those that'll probably work myself to death until I feel like I've done the job right.
I do feel the enormous pressure to keep up with picking on you guys for every little thing, because I want to know that you guys can do the best that you can. So in order for you to do the best that you can, I have to have a lot of things for you to do.
So some of the stress comes from myself. Some of it comes from being in this building and the reputation of other AP teachers who do so well on these tests. You feel like, I got to step up.
Stress is such a large issue for AP teachers, but where does it all come from? Who puts all the stress on these teachers?
The stresses come from me. I don't feel pressure outside. Some people worry about pass rates or externally imposed stressors on it. I'm not really worried about that. I think the pressure I put on myself causes me to stress. I want to prepare the best lesson, or I want to have the highest pass rate, or I want to have high number of 4s or 5s, but I don't really feel the pressure from any external stressors. I just kind of put that pressure on myself.
That you do want to know how to best use the language. So in order for me to be able to best help you, I have to be on top of my game. So it's partially me putting pressure on myself, but also that you guys can do well.
So the other stressor is with AP Chem, you don't have curriculum. So all the curriculum materials, the syllabus, the timing, the labs, everything has to be created by me, which seems to be consuming about 90% of my life right now.
With all these stressors in their lives, how do our teachers cope with teaching these challenging AP courses while also teaching at a lower level class?
For me, it's actually great because I'm lucky that I have the AP and the GT. And what I'm finding is that I'm able to take some of that AP stuff and articulate it down to the GT level. And then that gives me insight as to who's ready.
It's a lot. It's a lot of grading, because it's the same thing with 4. In order for the 4 kids to be able to take AP next year, they have to be doing the best that they can do. So it's the same thing with them, nitpicking on every little thing that they do and throwing a lot of stuff at them to make sure that they're getting exposed constantly.
I think that the challenge is in the way that I treat altitude kids or trade kids after teaching the calc class or before. I generally raise the bar in calculus class, and I don't necessarily lower it for the altitude kids. So I kind of expect more out of an average level class than maybe I normally would if that's all I taught all day.
The ones that are showing they have an inclination to be successful in AP Chem will show me that when they're in the GT classes. So that works really well for me.
AP teaching is a difficult experience. But with so many teaching these classes for years, there must be some good aspects for teaching the class.
Sometimes when I read things that you have written or listen to things that you've recorded, I laugh and I smile and I'm like, God, great job. Like, you hit the nail on the head, and I love it. And it just makes me really proud of you guys for being able to do what I've taught you.
I challenge myself, so benefits for me are I get fulfilled with the math that I do. Like, if I teach fractions all the time, I mean, it kind of bores me. But if I get to teach some of the math questions that I go through, the first time that I go through them are really difficult for me. So it's a challenge for me and personal accomplishment to then be able to break that question down and have kids understand it.
I have all the upper level kids, so I'm constantly grading and nitpicking, and but I enjoy it.
Teachers feel the stresses of teaching AP, but many think that much more of the stress lies in the students. How do our students at Eastern feel about their AP classes?
It's pretty cool. They're difficult, lots of homework, but it's a valuable experience because you get to learn not only the material but skills like that'll help for college.
I actually really like it. I like it a lot more than I thought I would because it's easier. The workload is easier than I thought it would be.
One of the most nerve-wracking experiences regarding AP is the original transition into the first AP class.
I think it's harder in terms of the reading that you have to do, and you have to do a lot of your own. But there seems to be less work involved, less written work, because lower level classes have a lot of busy work, it seems like.
A lot of more homework.
But it's really not as bad as I thought.
Just as with teachers, students of AP classes continue to take these AP classes throughout their high school career. Despite the stress that they feel, they find reasons to keep with the classes and enjoy the experience.
I think there's a lot of benefits to be gained. One, your parents save money in college, so instead of paying $300 per credit, you pay nothing.
Well, you can get college credits if you get high enough scores on the tests.
Also, it's preparing you for your college classes that you have to take later on.
There's a bond with the teachers because most AP teachers are very involved, so they can help you get into colleges by like writing your recommendations, and there's the experience and just the overall knowledge.
Even though AP classes are a good deal of stress and pain, they prove themselves worthwhile for both teachers and students.